Hey everybody, welcome back for more Cultist Simulator. I'm recording this right on the heels of the last couple of episodes, so I do have kind of an idea what I'm looking to do. We've still got a couple of expeditions on the continent that we're trying to churn through, but the big goals today, we've got to solve this issue with the Mansus. I need to figure out how we're going to get into the stag door. I've told myself again and again playing this game that I wouldn't resort to a wiki or a Google search. So I want to stick to that. I'm not saying that I'm going to abandon that plan. But after today's episode, I may have to do something dramatic, because after today, it's going to be a recording break. And if I don't figure it out now, while I've been playing it for hours today, I'm never going to figure it out in 2 weeks when I eventually go to record more episodes. So we want to do that. We want to continue kicking through the Mansus. And we want to find some decent sized knock lore. So we have a bunch of books. I'm probably going to prioritize this guy because it looks like it's, oh, I can't. Is this one in Vax? It's in Vac. All right. So strike part of that, but the knock lore situation is still very much in play. So we're going to get at it, and we're going to do it right now. The Vanderschaft Collection. A crumpled little museum in a provincial town, long closed to the public since an outbreak of peculiar rapture in the room where they keep the pressed flowers. Only the very curious would ever pay attention to the place. And its close-warded storeroom of ill-omened treasures. Sounds like something we want. All right, we'll send you guys in first. That gives me kind of a decent spread. What does it tell me about obstacles? The door to the painted chamber of the Vanderschaft collection is locked and warded. The building is said to be haunted by flowers. Okay, so hold up. Maybe I rethink this. I do still want the percussagant, I think. I think we're going to let the Callagine expire, because if we're going to deal with hauntings, the winter will come in handy, but edge is there if we need it. And then I'll wait and see what the obstacles are to determine if we're going to send Lantern or Forge. I love that so many things require us to interact with Lantern, because obviously having Seers makes that very helpful. Let's knock out some more commissions since the work verb is just sitting around. We got a very substantial Forge. All right, you take care of that. Translating. We're cruising. We're getting there. Season of Dread is not ideal, given that we have several on the board. All right, so what do we have? The Fifth Eye Curse, Heart or Winter. All right, so we already have some Winter. We have some Heart, but not a lot. So there were no ghosts. It was this Fifth Eye Curse. And then a warded door is Forge or Knock. Okay. Oh, man, I wish I knew which one we were dealing with first. Let me send in Forge, because we don't have any of that on the board, and I'm going to need to probably send all three for their obstacle. And it'll tell me after this timer runs if we're dealing with the curse first, in which case I can reinforce Winter. Right? It said winter could affect it. Yeah, Heart or Winter. Okay. Got a rising heat. Some erudition. A speak verb I don't know what to do with. Okay. Our tools are ready. We should be able to penetrate this warded door. That's actually not awesome. I really would have preferred it the other way, but it looks like just the two of them are maybe going to be enough. I wanted the curse first since I already had Winter locked and loaded with the Maid in the Mirror. But that was sadly too much to ask. Hieronymus claims that the powers served by the Sisterhood of the Knot made an arrangement. The Thunderskin loved the Yew, and the Grail destroyed him as restitution for the destruction of the Axe's loved ones. Hieronymus's writing became incoherent with rage at this point. Interesting, so that's the second time we've heard that story as well. The Thunderskin loved the ewe, and the Grail destroyed him as restitution for the destruction of the Axe's loved ones. Some of those are names we've heard several times, right? The Thunderskin is involved, the ewe. There's a lot of these hours I'm starting to kind of like recognize: the Witch and Sister, the Colonel. But some of them I have no idea. All right, I suppose this is what my talk verb is for. It's turned into nothing but the back channel ways in which I exchange information with my patrons. A very substantial edge commission is next. Because I'm gonna wind up, I might as well liquidate a bunch of cash here coming up if I'm not gonna know what to do about the expeditions. Oh, we did get the door, beautiful. Because if I'm not using the explore verb for expeditions, we can use it for the auction house. Do I have a commission from you at the moment? I don't. That's the one that's in the, okay. I literally just put it in the work verb and I was like, Count Jannings, am I ignoring you? There's a restlessness. I don't know what you want from me, restlessness. You want my desire, but I'm a priest. I'm without desire. So we're gonna send in Violet and probably Claire both, if I'm honest. Try and tackle this curse. There's one contentment. I am gonna get another one. We're stacking too much dread, and there's a restlessness on the board. Hieronymus recovers his composure eventually to describe how the Thunderskin entered the Mansus through the Peacock door. This, Hieronymus insists, is abomination upon abomination. But then that most abominable of doors has always been an abomination. So it's so interesting because it's basically the same story we heard from the other book, but it's from a conflicting, like a conflicting religion, a conflicting order. So it was described as much less savory. Did get us another forbidden epic too, which at this point I will not complain about, certainly. Tantra of Worms. Which one sounds fun to me? The High Mysteries of the Innermost. The High Mysteries of the Innermost Chamber of our Church Solar. Secret Rites of the Church of the Unconquered Sun, which held power in at least 2 histories. So we were just reading a book from someone who belonged to that. So let's kind of stick with trying to keep some theming to our studies, because it may yield additional details if I'm like ready to catch them. With hope. There you are, Count. Secret Histories is next. Man, that's never gonna not annoy me when that happens. A slight misclick and I scrap the entire job in progress. Almost certainly protect us. Well, with Claire, I think you can just put it in the bank. Exotic cravings, obsessions, resentment, maverick, marks of delight, forms of change, marks of shaping, mentor, marks of light, and claws of memory. I don't think a single one of those is something that I have any idea what it is. If you were to ask me, Chris, do you feel like you're getting a decent hold on Cultist Simulator? I probably would have said yes, but that interaction has 8 aspects that I legitimately could not tell you anything about. So I've got that going for me. I want to be clear, I'm not like getting frustrated with the game. I'm still very much enjoying the game. I think I'm frustrated with me not putting the pieces together. I think the Cultist Sim does a really good job of like dropping the hints and clues you need. I just feel like I'm not picking them up as well. The curse shrivels. Of course it does. We sent in an A squad. This contentment should have time to go into this season of despair, fortunately. All right, so what about all this? The church chiefly worshipped the sun in splendor, the original undivided sun. But this text also includes the devotions of its aspects as the chilly winter dawn and the departing sunset, as well as the Mensicate, the sun's night self. Priests of the church were all male, but rites were also included which allowed women to cross ceremonially into manhood. So this talks about an undivided sun. We have the wolf divided is what we drew for winter. The sun was divided, and this is its wound. And here, when it talks about the divided sun, it does talk about a chilly winter dawn. So again, you know, when I first started playing this, a lot of this stuff I thought was just basically provocative verse to kind of like make this stuff seem mysterious and dangerous and have some fun with it. But it very much does have a mythos that it holds to. And I love how that parallels what it must be like for a cultist actually engaging in these activities, right? Like you find some scraps of knowledge, you don't know how the puzzle fits together, but the more you learn and the more you understand, you start to see how all of it is interconnected. It's really impressive how the game manages to kind of take card playing and I suppose it's studying in a way, studying what cards do what, but it's simulating me studying all these eldritch texts, and I absolutely love that. All right, we're swimming. I got so much spintria. I don't even care about normal funds anymore. That's not true. I need some normal funds. In fact, do one of these just to keep some money flowing in. It didn't grab my contentment and instead grabbed my dread, which is never fun. So sadly, we are going to continue dreaming with the dwindling funds we have. And we're going to have to go sell some stuff at the auction house before we take on the unnumbered stones. Which, that's fine. The walls of the painted chamber carry scenes of war from all the major histories. Vienna falling to the worms, the sovereigns of the leashed flame, burning the martyr soldiers of the Knot Sisterhood, the meeting of Alexander and the Shadowless King. Along one wall, a shelf is stuffed with junk and curiosities. I think this Alexander and the Shadowless King we just studied too, where they promised Alexander he could be immortal if he died. Crazy. The church's highest rites were performed in the concursum. The concursum, which I believe, yeah, the concursum diaries is this book we got down here. The chamber at the Mansus's heart, where the hours were known to pass. These rites include salutations to non-solar hours, the Grail, the Ringyu, the Horned Axe, and the Thunderskin. Okay, so maybe it's not generations of hours, maybe it's like affiliations, because these say the non-solar hours and includes a bunch of names we already know. Ooh, and it just handed me a level 10 for Lantern. Love it. The concursum awaits at the Lantern of the Mansus. It has been called the Chamber of Waves and also the Chamber of Endings. Its intricacies are probably beyond human comprehension, but these formula are a first approximation. Use it with blah, blah, blah to summon a hint. Okay, so nothing really new on that front. I do have a fascination to ice this dread with, but I don't think we're going to be able to do it before it pulls another dread. Unless I can get it to take that contentment. That'd be nice. Sorry, I got excited because we saw a bunch of stuff happen. That's like the least descriptive way I could have phrased it. I got excited because I started making some connection. The Serenity of the Black Wood, an allegorical history of the House of Leth, who it is implied were inspired by the centipede. Cyrano Blackwood is an occultist alias to this day. So this is another one that sounds like it's maybe kind of a lower level. It's like an intro. Sorry, I've been recording all day, so my voice is starting to be a little gravelly. So you'll have to excuse me. I'm going to take extra water breaks. All right. A book of pressed flowers emanating a peculiar scent. 3 elderly bedikers? I don't know what that is. A collection of butterflies painted black and white. And the real treasures. An oddity in a glass case. And a cloisoned coffer of rare books. Books. Oh man, listen, you guys want to learn Aramaic? You come and see your buddy Mattheson. He'll get y'all hooked up. Ooh, I don't know what that is, but it's cool looking. And that. Some of this stuff is bananas. Old clothes, near worthless accessories. It might pick up a few pennies somewhere, but it's of little use to me. Oh no. So now I'm just finding crap even when I go on expeditions. That's kind of like when you start finding the book that's garbage. Wait a minute. This is a book, but it has knock lore and is a tool. Weird. Okay, I'm gonna have to read that in more detail in just a moment. I'm trying to try not to get too ahead of myself. Trying to make sure I'm putting all the pieces together. And then what is this? This is a secret histories tool. I didn't know we'd get tools for this. Sometimes it is hard to be sure if an arrow slew the Empress Herodias or the Emperor Eurydoka. Sometimes it is possible that an ormolu clock was stolen in the sack of Vienna, even as it rested safe in the vaults of Rome. A paradoxical curio. So this is saying, I guess part of it was always me assuming that the secret histories were like chronological, but this is suggesting that the secret histories can exist just alongside each other. Like a multi-dimensional kind of an aspect to it. I might not be making much progress in the Mansus, but I feel like I am absolutely baking my noodle as far as like learning more stuff about the game world that Cultist Simulator takes place in. Oh, sweet. That took my contentment, so I'm going to be able to burn that other dread, which I am a-okay with. A substantial heart commission. I don't think we're going to do another batch of commissions right now. Once I sell some of these spin trias, we're going to be loaded. We're going to lose our summons. So before we go and explore, the unnumbered stones, we'll probably do some more summoning. I'll probably also uncover these 2 forbidden epics that lead us to more expeditions, just because if we're going to do more summoning, I might as well have them at the ready for other tasks when we're done with the one. But we got books to read. That's the biggest thing we got to do right now. The proverbial footloose gathers the travelers in a wood and leads them through, but abandons them part way. They find themselves beset by, quote, glorious monsters. You'd have to be a pretty glorious monster for me to be cool with it. I'm gonna be real honest. This is in Frisian, which I don't speak. This is in Latin, Sanskrit, Latin, Fusine, Sanskrit. Okay, so we can read the other ones. We are starting to put together quite the collection of unparsable books, however. So we're gonna have to figure out how to learn those languages. We do one of these. Making money. I'm gonna sell all but 2 of these silver spin trias just to really put together a bankroll. Because part of what is kind of keeping me stuck in one spot is that I have to stop what I'm doing to get funds together. And if I just focus on getting funds up for a minute here. We're going to be able to go on a bunch of expeditions. My maid in the mirror is going to disappear, but she doesn't help me get rid of evidence anyway. Substantial lantern. We're not going to worry about it. Let's just try and get our tentative evidence out the door. Porter's got 2 scars, but they don't match. So hang on. Scars can be useful. I don't need to really worry until you've got 2 that match, and then we got to be worried. You're just looking for a contentment. I'll feed you. I'll feed you. We're really just going through and getting these books read at this point. This is part of that weird kind of like almost cyclical gameplay that this game has, but doesn't really describe, where, you know, you have the resources, you do a bunch of expeditions, you have a bunch of books, now you have a bunch of books, you do a bunch of studying, it gives you a bunch of lore. Back and forth and back and forth. The travelers discover they can survive if they close their eyes. They adopt a closed eye as their sign, and that they can go unnoticed if they drink from the clear, cold streams. They never forget that proverbial Footloose, the centipede, but they never forgive her either. Okay. Okay. I'm kind of interested in this book because it's also a knock tool. And I'm not too worried about using it up as a tool because I have a better knock tool anyway. But I'm interested in this, the Geminid, the Geminiad. A fragile manuscript illuminated with twinned shapes of sad and luminous beauty, and with all the phases of the moon. It might be as old as the 7th century, but the language, Fusine, is much older. Coral decorates its cover, and its pages are sharp enough to slash a throat. That's crazy. I want to read you. I realized after I went to go do that unskilled labor that I was already sitting on tons of vitality to fix this affliction. All right, so there's a contentment to get rid of that. Buzzing in the brain is going to turn into restlessness, but I'll be able to pair that up. I was going to say with my fascination, but although I think that will still... Where'd my affliction go? Wait. Didn't I just have an affliction? Oh god, this is gonna get so messy while I try and find this. Where is it? Because I didn't get rid of it. It just popped up. It normally pops up like right over here when I have it. Ooh, I don't... Oh, here it is. Ooh. Ooh, I didn't like that. That gave me the nervouses. I zoomed in to read that, thinking it was the end of an expedition. That's how much in expedition mode I am. This restlessness, I think, is going to turn into dread and then get fed to fascination. So we'll see how that goes. Or that dread. I'm just spitting dread out everywhere lately. That's my new move. My man, Porter, getting rid of the evidence. Good work out there, buddy. Shouts of excitement. Good, good, good. All right. One more trip to the auction house. And then we're going to study these 2 forbidden epics. So I wonder, now that it's translated, if this has a different score as a tool. It doesn't. It's still just a 2. Okay. So I'm going to translate it. It says it can only exist once, but I think it could yield me more lore, and that's more of what I want. These pages outline the nature and the doctrines of an hour that demands the union of what is at rest, an hour that is sought at the water's edge and beneath the moon, the the witch and sister. The language is naughty, poetic, willful. It'll take some untangling. Yo, that's a long study. 90 seconds on that? Maybe I just haven't been paying attention as we've gotten higher level books, but I didn't think they went that hard. Of course I would pull a Bleak Thoughts. So I need more contentment. Lovely. 1, 2 of them. Whatever. We making those stacks. Oh, shit. I started it too quick and now it's doing an auction. Yeah, for Deep Mysteries. Yeah. Okay. So it's still sold out. That's for sure. Too fast. Hit my S button. All right. I've made no progress towards the Mansus. This knock lore might help though, because that might let me do what we were looking at with the church. I need knock 10 though, so I don't know if it's going to jump me from 6 to 10 all at once. Contentment, get another one. And then we got to go right back to Oriflammes because I hadn't intended to go without my auctionables. Should we have the... I mean, I always leave the talk just sitting here. These guys can do stuff for me. This isn't how I do it, though. Do I have enough now that we have 18? So it's still 3 short. So if I had... I wonder how high these can go. Because if we get one more level out of it, if it's lore level 10, 21st intensity. So I have 18 here. So if you were 12, I'd still be short. If you were 14, I could exalt everybody. That'd be cool. I don't know how we would turn you into a seer though. I don't think that's how that's supposed to work. That does though mean if someone had a lantern scar, we could get them close. I wonder if that's just random luck of the draw. I think we're also going to Oriflammes the stuff that I have that's sellable just to get it off my board. Which is going to... I did it again. I did it again. You know what? We're finally trying it. We're going to go fast forward mode. Whoa, this gave me 5 things. The Geminian reminds us that the witch and sister has been known to manifest as the sister and witch, and that this face may heal, while the other face is always hungry. It implies connections between the witch and sister and the hours of the wood, especially the secret keeper called the Velvet. But it is ambiguous on whether the witch and sister is a wood hour proper, and it speaks at length about the sadness of the two who are one, the sadness that remains from their time as flesh. So this is introducing yet another character, because I don't think we've heard about the Velvet at all. The Rite of the Crow's Quenching. Okay, so another new rite. This rite calls on the beach crow at sunrise or moonrise. The crow accepts the sacrifice and returns the gifts of the earth. A red version of the Geminiad, of the Geminiad. Okay, so we don't lose it. We can keep it as a tool. Moldy Warp Admonitions. Got so much moth lore. Another Thyiatic Invocation. And a Geminate Invocation. Is the heart version. Man, okay, so all of that and it didn't yield any knock. What a bummer. I really thought that was the ticket. The Watchful Tantra, notorious for its involvement in the deaths of Dafydd Jones and Meredith Blaine, 2 early physicists who each claimed to have the only copy and who ultimately fought a duel over it in 1840. That's interesting. You dueled over a book and killed each other. I mean, I guess it's implying that they killed each other. I don't want to bid on something deep mysteries. That's why we're in fast forward. Work wise, let's throw a sermon out there. I like to stay loyal to the flock. We're gonna sell a jumble. This oddity is probably worth something, but it's hard to be sure. Despair is gone. We have so few temporary cards right now, which I'm okay with. The Tantra describes processes of occult illumination, including a formula which may show the way from the Hunter's Gate to the Serpent Gate, which in the West is usually called the Spider Door. So the Hunter's Gate, I've heard someone else say the Hunter's Gate, that must be the Stag Door, but maybe this will let us into the Spider Door. That would be anything to get more progress in the Mansus, because I feel like that whole aspect of the game is just completely lost on me. All right, so we did a good with our sermon, because here we go, we got fervor. I do not have enough knock lore to do anything with that fervor, sadly. I don't know if it actually made me money, because I didn't see a money card, but it got rid of the card on my tabletop, so that is in and of itself a small victory. The sun passes through the house at the appointed time. Since the sun's division, the time has become uncertain. So this has given me an 8 lantern and the Rite of Watchman's Sorrow. Okay, so it didn't actually give me anything that would lead towards that. It did give me another level 8 lantern, which maybe this is now finally time to give this a crack to try and go above 10. Much time's in the episode? We're only like halfway on the episode. Let's do it. Let's give it a shot. What all do I need for it? I'm gonna need erudition, which I don't have, so I should get that first. And I'm gonna need an HQ with a library or the rarefied mind trait, which I do have. Okay, so I need an erudition first. So let's keep reading. We've got books we want to study anyway, because sometimes they give me eruditions. The irreproachable traditions of the Society of the Noble Endeavor, in Latin. I like how that one didn't really give me like the history of why it's in the language it's in, so it makes it sound like it's been translated several times. So it's like, oh, this is the Latin version. We also have it in English, don't worry. All right. Clear those out, and then we're gonna go study these 2 forbidden epics and get back into expedition mode, because we are sitting flush with cash. Thank you for the funding. I appreciate you. Uncover locations in the land beyond the forest. Those stories that have been forbidden are the ones most apt for us to read. I like that it doesn't even have a name, just the land beyond the forest. Their endeavor was no less noble, a furious arcane conflagration, which would refine them into something more than human. But such transformations are rare, and they often end, less nobly, in ashes. This is gotta be for Forge lore, yeah? Which, again, I'm fine with, because that's another one that we're kind of really lacking in lore for. Gotta learn Vac. Vac and... what is it? Frisian. Alright, so we have found Tower Ravik. The cards are just getting cooler and cooler looking as we explore, too. Alright, the only other forbidden epic we got. He's looking to make some evidence. That's fine. We're going to summon in just a hot second anyway, so... in fact, we can start summoning now. Okay. Oh, what does this one use? An offering. Oh, so wait, I can just throw that 6 grail. Influence. Yeah, again, I don't know why I would want to keep influences though. That one to me, this one where I can burn an influence, they're already a fleeting resource. It just seems crazy to me that I wouldn't choose that to be the thing that disappears. Lantern Heart or Winter. We're gonna go Winter. No, you know what? We're not gonna go Winter. I really want... Wait. How did those get switched? They did. I want one of the moth ones. One of the moth summons. This won't do it because that's moth as the throwaway part, not as the big part. All right, well, whatever. We know we're gonna want stuff because we're about to go expeditioning. So give me a Maid in the Mirror. They have done well for me. Partridge claims to have identified consistent features among those who ascended. All of them had passed the stag door and were accounted no. All of them spoke the Calidate invocation or a greater rite at the start of their ascension. All of them were rich. All right, I've got the rich part down. I covered that. The Tantra of Worms. The entomologist Juliana Zawistowski eventually came to insist that this text was written by insects inhabiting a human skin. She never presented evidence for her claim. Cool story, dog. Maybe that's what that dude... We did an expedition in the continent where that guy had infested corpses with something. Maybe he was talking to some worm bros. That doesn't make me happy. Cave of Candles. Okay, so we have our expeditions. We got a Maid in the Mirror coming up. We got tentative evidence that we're gonna send our boy Porter to take care of. All right, there's my Maid in the Mirror. Oh, my talk verb's being used now. Let's do the last of the continent ones because I could probably handle that without needing to worry too much about safety. And then that'll stop our timer on Maid in the Mirror. Megaliths placed in obsessive, inerrant rows by priest castes long dead. Time has long erased the original bloodstains. But on moonless nights, the locals supplement what remains. Hidden chambers might guard hidden treasures. So this is the repeatable one for the continents. What do I have right to jump? I have good edge. I have good winter. Let's send lantern. And as always, the monies. The Tantra explains various less than practical countermeasures against the worms, capital W worm. The serpents, which are not serpents. Moth and winter are closest to them, and so understand their weaknesses, but both have their own perils. The lionsmith crushes them, but that's not recommended for mortals. Lionsmith sounds like a scrapper. Like, Lionsmith goes hard. So we need moth. We need edge. We need lantern. Okay, so moth and forge are the two not really represented here. So but my moth is in use. I mean, I guess I could send forge and then that's the better bet. Let's send some forge and hope they can get us through the wood. Again, I'm sending Forge right now just to get them represented in some capacity, because we're going to find out actually which of the obstacles we're up against right now. The forest enfolds us, but we are practical souls, strong in Forge. We'll probably be fine. Help is on the way. We'll almost certainly make it through. I like the sound of that a whole lot better. We should do another summon, and I have restlessness here that I'm almost gonna miss. So let's see. Because I think we can get a greater power of Forge. So it's got to be 10 Forge for whatever it is that you can summon with that recipe. Interesting. All right, so it wasn't restlessness that I needed. I don't remember what it had been that I was using to summon the Callagine. Heart, Lantern, Winter. Let's get a hint. We haven't had a hint in a while. Kind of like our original mascot in a way. The worms have always been eager to inhabit us. Here are the practices that make us inhospitable to them. There are not diagrams. The diagrams are not good to look upon, and none of the practices they depict I would allow the subject to survive. So that almost certainly sounds like what that guy had been investigating. Which is now made way more gross as a result. Porter, again, coming up big on the evidence front. So we have one more book that we're going to be able to translate here. The Cipher Journal of Alessandro Lacrosse. Prince Alessandro Lacrosse spent years in secret study of the tablets taken from the Fucine marshes in central Italy. His work will allow you to read Fucine text. Oh, okay, cool, cool. But it's written in a simple Latin cipher. You'll need to decipher it first. I already know Fucine. So, I mean, I can study this, and then I guess we can take it to auction. Bummer, I thought we still had a book. All right, we made it through the forest, so now we can see what the next obstacle is, and we'll send the proper reinforcements. And then I guess if nothing else, so wait, this, because this I'm gonna actually have to think about. So I didn't get the Knocklore I wanted. I haven't figured out the Mansus. I guess hopefully we just gotta hope these other expeditions yield something. We have an affliction. How long do I have on you? 3 minutes. I'll use vitality instead of money. Oh, we won't know yet. Okay, so wait. We're gonna want Lantern, and we're gonna want Edge. Ooh. That won't be ready in time. Okay, so let's send Edge. Oh, what's wrong, bud? You don't have your evidence. Where'd your evidence go? We would have had the hint in time. That's kind of a bummer. So you are Lantern and Edge, so you actually would have come in very handy. I don't know where to put them. I guess I'll put them down by Secret Histories. Okay, so now I have the Fucine text, but I don't need to read that. So I guess we sell it. Might as well. Add this to the stuff to sell pile. Our strength is matchless. Well, it's about to be more matchless because we're going to send a hint just to keep their cooldown at a minimum. Because, like, I like the thought, the hint and the maiden, the mirror, those two together give me a ton of edge. Without having, because like that one I feel like is the most dangerous for potential cultist injury. Do we upgrade anything? I think I try and upgrade this. So I need an erudition. So first we're going to do a study with reason to get an erudition, and then we're going to upgrade that lantern lore. Logistical difficulties. Oh, because I only sent 2 and it was a 3 obstacle dungeon. I didn't think of that. With a 3 obstacle dungeon, I have to at some point send money, because you're only allowed to put 2 in the beginning. And then lastly, we have the hidden door, which it looks like we're going to smoke. And we're going to send Cat Caro. How about 28 lantern? Will that do? Is that okay? So this will give me my erudition. And then we're going to study this. Yes, we found it. I think I'm going to put it back to normal speed. I'm stressing myself out with everything going so fast. I do definitely get through more content when I play on fast forward, but it freaks me out. Like it fires anxiety within me. Wisdom is a country. Okay, well, we're going to go explore the wisdom countryside. Let's do a sermon for the folks. Yeah? Hit him with a forge. Hit him with a forge sermon. You can rebuild yourselves. I totally forgot about that health. That's what happens when I play on fast speed. I just yeet health into the beyond and turn it into decrepitude. Oh, that sucks. Because, like, what aspects do you even bring to the table? You're just garbage. A remnant. Oh, you have one winter. We can try and do something with it. Challenge knowledge. Let me hit you with some erudition, bam. And you're already done. Okay, beautiful. Will you tell me what I do with decrepitude? Let's try that. I don't know what to do when we chat with her. She doesn't offer anything. Beneath the stone, the moonlight bleaches the grass to winter. All around, the stones loom. Here in the tumulus side beneath the turf is a stone that will rise like a trap door. We must put our backs into it. Listen up, cultists. You can do it. Put your back into it. Let's take a trip to the Mansus with our newly dwindling supply of health. Maybe that'll cheer me up. Okay, cool. So we passed that. So now it's going to want my rarefied mines, I think is what it said. Subdued ceremony. They weren't pumped. They were like, yeah, okay. I mean, it's not the best sermon you've ever given. The chamber inside the tumulus was half collapsed with the years. Fat white spiders crawl from the touch of our lamplight. Insolently slow, the stone reliefs are cracked and dripping, but here is the offering hole still, with its treasures. So I think these like repeatable ones don't hit me with books. Oh my god, or they hit me with books that I could give two shits about. But still, the repeatability I don't think is a bad idea. So this is an edge ingredient. Labithic brains. Lab heights are the youngest of the lionsmith's servants. When rendered to powder, they retain their potency, but not their beauty. So it looks like everything has an ingredients, a consumable, or I'm sorry, a pigment, a consumable, a lesser tool, a greater tool, and then I can paint it. I think I've got that right. But like the ingestible ingredient from moth, oh no, isn't more potent. I apologize. I thought that it was, but it is not. So hang on, let me get these laid out kind of the way I want them. So that means there's still a bunch of stuff for forge I've never discovered, a bunch of stuff for grail I've never discovered. I don't know if Secret Histories plays by the same rules. It tends to be a little bit different. All right, we got the crew back. Let's send them out on another expedition. We're gonna go to Tower Revik. the blasted stump of a building, the air festers. Whatever power destroyed this place still clings. Only one floor remains above ground, but we suspect more space below. These guys, I feel like, just give me a really good spread for the start. Very comfortable with that. We will have to search assiduously, assiduously? I don't know that word either. To find whatever treasures might remain. And if the tower was truly destroyed in a battle between adepts, dangerous influences may still cling on. Okay, so we're starting with Lantern, which will help us look around. We've got Edge in case it comes to a rumble. And if the stuff that is left isn't exactly of the living variety, we got some Winter. We're okay. We in there. We in there. Might have some new evidence to deal with from Homeboy. See if Sulachana can tell me anything about my dentures. It'd be lovely if she could. And then this, we're going to use Rarefied Mind. So that'll let me upgrade you. And so what am I going to need for the next one? Rarefied Mind I have. Erudition I can get. So this is the tricky one. It requires a Sanctuary, which I have. Okay. So we can actually get Lantern upgraded again, which puts me in a position of being extremely close to maybe exalt more people. Is she disappointed? It's difficult to tell with Sulachana. I just wanted you to tell me what to do with my dentures. All right, so what do we have for only 2 obstacles here? The Creeping Breath Curse. We need Heart or Grail. Cool, so I sent none of that. Lantern or Knock. Oh boy. Not exactly my strong suits. So Lantern is fine because we'll have that mostly covered, right? I can just send one more and that's handled. So we need to start getting either... I mean, I think we have to send Heart because that we have more people of. It hadn't occurred to me what happens if we come up against a tough set of circumstances because we don't have a ton of cultists in a certain category. I mean, we can summon more, right? I have 2 summons in there now, but we could have more. An Icy Atmosphere. Is this what I've used to summon the Caligan? I don't remember. Forgotten Chronicle. We might just have to start upgrading Forgotten Chronicles. What would I need? Erudition and Sanctuary. Okay, so that's not that hard to do. It's just time consuming. Nice sermon. Hey, Mattheson, Father Mattheson. Nice sermon out there, buddy. Why don't you celebrate with a fervent heart service. I don't know how many of these I'm gonna have to throw in there. We know that we cannot afford to be losing more health. Why did I do that? I did it like I was trying to get rid of dread. I think I've played too long today. This is definitely gonna be the last episode that I put together today. Hidden door is what's up first. It says we should. We don't want that. We want almost certainly. So we're going to send in Clifton. Good old Pulp Clifton. And then we're going to have to hustle on getting the rest of the heart cultists in there. More evidence. Porter. I believe you know what that means. Send your boy Porter after it. At least I'm not bleeding fun. Well, I mean, I'm actually losing funds at a pretty good clip. Even while we were loaded up, that number has already dropped pretty considerably. I did play on fast forward for a while though, so that number's a little bit amplified in my mind. All right, cool. We got through the door, so we'll send Dorothy next. We want to protect against that curse. Maybe we'll get lucky and the curse will like, it'll hit like the hint. I don't think that's how it works. But a man can dream. All right, what do we got? Substantial. Substantial. We'll get some of these guys cranking here so that we can refill the coffers. Especially if I'm going to have to spend time studying Secret Histories lore to upgrade it to find more expeditions in the first place. Because that gives me like a little bit of a 1-2 where I can take time to sell stuff at auction. Okay, we are going to try and do this. So what do I need? I have all the parts I need on hand except an erudition. So again, we have to go study a reason first. And then we should have everything we need, which means I'm going to have to reorganize everything. Gotta fix my game board. All right, I will safeguard my health this time. Heart. I think we'll be able to send all 3 of them in. It's still only 15 though. Compared to some of the numbers I've been putting in expeditions, it's not a big number. Hit me with a notoriety and some funds, that's fine. If we get rid of this evidence at least. Porter's probably due for another failure, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I felt it. I can feel it in my bones. Hopefully it is not a repeated scar. Man, if only evidence had a typing that we could just use it in a summoning, right? Can you imagine someone's got like a dossier on you and you're like, oh no, I'm sorry, I just turned that into some horror from beyond. We call upon the ring you. Okay, so the ring you is a heart aspect. That's something I think I could definitely do a better job of. I might even, I probably should have done this from the start, but I should play with a notebook so that I can start putting some of these together. That's probably going to turn into damning evidence, so maybe we do want to summon a Caligain. You were also a substantial one. I would suppose if we upgrade this to 12, it'll tell me if I'm capable of upgrading it to 14. And that'll, because that determines whether or not we can upgrade other people. All right, we're going to study the glorious lore. Let's do it. Probably get that studying and the rest of these expeditions handled. And then we're gonna have to call it a day. The curse shrivels. We've done it, team. Treasure awaits before us. You turn this into damning evidence on me? You son of a bitch. All right, that's fine. We'll figure that out in a second. All right, Porter, my sweet prince. No, it's another knock scar. All right, you're benched, buddy. You're benched. Let me go see if we can get an influence to summon a Caligain. Caligain? I'm never gonna say it. I don't know why I'm still trying. I mean, we could just try to maybe yeet. Oh no, of course, because the moth one we had was the one that died, that went insane. Bummer. You've only got one scar piece. You know what? I'm acting like a coward. I trust you, Isabet. Get it done out there. Huh? Oh, I'm like trying to figure out where the rest of my my stuff was, and it's because it was just sitting in front of me. All right, so I would like to do a summoning, please. Nothing will work with this. It's just not enough of what I have on hand, I would suppose. 6, 8. Yeah. All right. We'll wait and see what I can find past the white door. Maybe we'll get something we can work with. Because sometimes I think it's a winter influence is just what's available when I go through that door sometimes. So here's my erudition. And then it's just a matter of waiting for the timers to tick down. And we'll be able to convert that. Which is exciting. A long delayed conclusion. Beneath the tower is a cramped cellar with cracked slate walls. The proportions, it should be a perfect cube, but somehow there are too many corners. Blue light festers at the junction of the ceiling and wall. The floor flexes slowly, like the skin of a bubble. It echoes to a stamped foot. What space is open beneath? That's more than slightly intense. Fascination. I could potentially work with fascination too. That gives me 2 moth. So hold up. Does that change this story? It does. If I contact, or if I add Grail, I can contact something shapeless. Grail for the raw prophet. The raw prophet. Okay. Hopefully you got moth influence, friendo. Let's head right back to see if I can't get that winter influence. Bundle the books into a sack. Hurry up the handholds to the tower, or hurry up the handholds to the tower stump. The sky above ripples with cobalt aurora. The hills around are washed with shutters of blue light. There's a high and singing sound from the stones of the tower as we leave. Lightning cracks from the sky, and suddenly everything is silent. The tower stump is gone. Yo, what? Bitter black salts. More tantras. We got all these tantras. How the end will begin? That's not concerning. You are the forge pigment. We've done it. Okay, cool. So I should paint a forge painting because that gives me a better forge aspect. And then we've got books. We can translate you. We can translate you. We can't translate. Damn it. Okay, so we've got to be able to learn VAC at some point, right? Immediately into another expedition, and then we're going to use that to kind of cap off the episode. Cave of Candles. Every 7th sunset, the cunning man comes from the village below to renew the candles. The floor of the entrance chamber is a slick of stinking wax. He claims the light keeps the creatures below cowed, but more likely the sacrifices he brings keep it too sated to emerge. Okay. Not at all concerning. The ascent to the cave through the high passes will be dangerous. Whatever waits in the darkness below is probably more dangerous still. Okay, so darkness, fighting. I think we got a good team for that. We'll let that one rip and see where it gets us. Come on, team. We want evidence off the board. You've got this. Or Isbit, sorry. My girl Isbit, she gets it done. All right, Paradoxical Resolution wants my Open Soul. Oh, I didn't even realize that. I was counting on using my Sanctuary for that, but we actually have the correct passion skill for it too, so that makes that even more rewarding. I guess not really more rewarding, it's just I have the card on the table, but it means it's the one I picked. So what do we got? We got the high passes. Bleak and gray-green slopes lift the eye to the distant snow-edged sky-straining peaks. It'll be the devil of a job to find anything in there. Forge will sustain us, winter will shield us. Okay, so that is not at all what I thought it was going to be. But then we got snakes again. So we got the edge to cover that. So we want forge or winter. We're already packing a bunch of winter, so let's load up on winter. So I did have a good team for it. I just didn't know why, I guess is what it comes down to. Yeah, I'm going to have to finish this episode. I'm out of water. I'm talking my voice off. Not a great combo. I've been so sucked in today. I think I've recorded 3 episodes today. Because I'm just like fast forwarding through all of this in an effort to get as much of it as I can. It enters the world one limb at a time, questing like a serpent, cawing like a crow, throbbing like a vein. It will cuddle close against my leg if I let it, and afterwards I will have to dispose of my shoes. Gross. Gross. Your Grail and Moth, though. We got another good Moth one. Okay. Okay. And that gives me a Grail summon, which yet we haven't really had previous. What work am I doing? You're already to turn in. We can get this one knocked out. Because we're about to be out of expeditions, so I will be able to take stuff to auction after we get paid. Yeah, so Icy Atmosphere. Let me make sure I've got this right. Well, I gotta wait now. So actually, I might have just boned this up. The hour called the Medjugorje is at home. Is at home in the cold. She will almost certainly keep us from falling. Well, Eclair is going to make sure that that is a lock. And then one more check on that, and we should get our first 12th level lore, which I'm about. Seems pretty good. Free vitality. I've never really been upset by that. We're gonna lose this contentment. It drives me nuts when it does that. Frost scarred and shivering, we've made it through the mountains. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Certainly much more than I love these now 5 books that I can't read. Yeah, so like, look, I had 40 something funds when we started doing these 3 expeditions, and they're toast. So definitely a case of maybe I gotta crank out commissions at a faster rate than I've been doing it. Because especially if I wind up pulling too many that are like the crummy little ones, you just don't get enough out of them. We had just enough time for that to stay at the 6th level. So Edge, Heart, and Forge. Heart is Voiceless Dead. I think Forge is what, yeah. Forge is what gives me the Callagine. So I got to remember that if I go into, well, I want to get rid of this now, huh? And then Sun and Rags, I don't have what I need for it. I've got to remember that if I'm looking to get rid of evidence, if we go to the white door, I can find that winter influence and use it to get a Callagine to kind of do it for me. All right, so now we're up against a snake, which we are going to use Edge for. Edge is already brimming, but we will might as well send some folks along. Why not? One day I'll figure out what the hell you want me to do about the stag door. It'll be a glorious day. I might, so I thought about this a little bit. I had lunch between some of the episodes I recorded today, and I was thinking about the fact that I've got that if we talk about the cult, we can rededicate the cult. I might do that at some point, because if I wind up hitting a wall where I don't know what I'm doing with the Mansus and we can't get enough knock lore to do whatever it is I can do with the church, maybe it'll let me leave the church. Although it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like I'm going to rededicate it. Eyes like gas lamps, scales like black jade. A serpent is a powerful foe, but it's nothing before us. Well, yeah, because we took Rose. She gonna take care of business. So if nothing else, we'll have a couple of books to study next time around. Oh, but I can't study if I'm using the study verb to upgrade Forgotten Chronicles. Ugh, we're gonna wind up with a terrible logjam. Oh, speaking of which, I should be going and trying to get as many Forgotten Chronicles as I can if I'm gonna have to do this the hard way. There it is. Look at this. A level 12 Mantra of Ascent. The Ascent of Knives is the bloodiest of the Watchman's tests. Those who pass it are dead. Those who pass it and are dead enter the service of the Sun in Rags. Those living who pass it are a little closer to the glory. Use this in a rite with knock and to summon a hint again. It looks like I can upgrade it again. Rarefied Mind. Open Soul. Erudition. So can it go to 14? Because if it was 14, 14 plus 8 is 22, which would be enough to upgrade all my other cultists. I think I have that right. That seems insane. We'd be so powerful. We'd be so powerful. Here's my Caligine. All right. We're gonna let this expedition come to a close here, and then we're gonna wrap the episode. Back. It's too much for us. Are you kidding me? Guys, you said it was like we were unstoppable. I guess if we're gonna have to wait for another round on the snake, we can go ahead and translate a book too. The Furious Tantra, as later described by the medium and pyrotechnician Jacob Oliver Top Mugglestone, tradition has it that he found it seared in the bark of an oak by lightning. How cool would that be? All right, I hope the injuries that occur from this snake are not terrible. I actually gotta hope it's not. This sounds insane, but if it's the Maid in the Mirror or the hint, that's not great for our rematch with the snake, because we'd be losing a ton of edge aspect. Oh, and I meant to do a winter commission. All right, so someone is injured. My hint has just been straight up killed. That's not great. That's not great. All right, we gotta send money so we get the rematch. We still have 20 edge. I'll send in Eldridge. Like, look, let's not be silly. That's gonna turn into Fascination, I think. So much to keep track of. Like, I feel like I've had basically the same board layout for several episodes, like essentially for several hours of gameplay at this point. So the cards on my board, I tend to have a pretty good understanding of what they are and what they do now. But man, even now after all this time playing, I'm still like, what does this card do when it fades? Our strength is matchless. Here comes Eldridge. People forget, but he's a machine. He sits in the wings often. All right. So we'll probably have time to study this book too. Right back into the Mansus. So yeah, look at that. 3 expeditions. I'm going to wind up with funding under 20 by the time we're done. You do have a dread in you. Okay, I got to keep an eye on that. We got plenty of these to turn in, so we might as well start doing that. Could have been doing that before. I wish Fascination would just sock it into Despair. That would be nice. I should check. Hang on. I'm going to do a preaching job. This never even occurred to me. It keeps talking about how I need more lore. Oh no, it specifically says I need a lore of the 10th intensity. It's not you need 10 aspect. I was like, wait, what if fervor has knock lore or knock aspect? It will not matter. That is not what it requires of me. The serpent beat me again. Are you kidding me? Doesn't look like we got injured this time, though. That's some bullshit. A full moon appears. Creatures are reborn, and even a lizard should not be slain, for it could be you. So 6th level edgelore. And the rite of the rebel striving. This rite enacts a teaching of the Forge of Days. The artisan may achieve their highest goal only by destroying their most precious tool. The lionsmith knew this when he shattered his sword before the colonel. So, my assistant must destroy a chosen instrument. Again, that sounds like a raw deal. Maybe they have different outcomes, though. I just feel like we've plugged a couple things in and had it give me the same like tooltip about what I was gonna make. And it just seems silly to throw away permanent stuff. The twin serpent tantra, a tantra shrouded in particular obscurity. So somehow this went from me ending the episode to me having the episode run long because of this stupid serpent. He just doesn't want to give me my goodies. That's all right. This will completely clear the deck of all the stuff that we have just kind of sitting and waiting. Another Forgotten Chronicle. So that's exactly what we want out of these trips. Not passion, I want health. Oh, goodness. I'm so sorry. Punched my microphone. All right. Get this translated. We can read it. Hopefully we're through Snake Boy here. I can't send anyone else. Thankfully it didn't injure anybody. We would have been in trouble. We might want to see about another summon to maybe bring out some more heat. This is the one I always try this and we never have. Oh no, this is the one I just did for the raw profit, but that doesn't give me any. That does not give me any edge, so we'll ignore that. Can I do something with vitality? Nope. Erudition. Nope. Look, you can't blame a guy for trying. We'll sock it in whatever this Caligan turns into when it dies. All right, our strength is apparently still matchless, but you know, I can't help but bring up the point that it's told me it was matchless several times, and this snake has absolutely been a match. You know, take it for what you will. Apparently matchless means less when you're up against a big old snake. How about restlessness? What can I do with you? What am I doing? There we go. Mighty creature of the Forge of Days. You need a great power of Forge, a significant power of Knock, and some Lantern. So that one we're not going to be able to do because I just don't have enough Forge. We might. Oh, the painting won't work though. We do need to do a painting though. So wait, hang on. That's something else I can do. This is the problem. I'm just stacking things on that I can do, and then we just stay and play forever. We're gonna make our Grail painting or our Forge painting. And I totally forgot that I was gonna use this Rising Heat. It's the same thing I've done over and over all day today. I have plans for something and I immediately find a way to goof it. Ah, we've got it. Okay, the snake is dead. We've done it. Let's read our new book. The Tantra describes the Great Hooded Princes, a dynasty of princes of unclear origin, engaging in prayers, sacrifices, and poetry in honor of the Key Serpent, the Crossroads Twins, and the Mirror Queen. Nagi encircles. Nagi arises from wounds. Nagi spares those who are already harmed. Funny that we're reading about all this snake lore while I'm getting housed by a giant snake. No, we wanted the Chronicle. That's all right. We'll live. Well, you know, I guess I've been a little grumbly this episode because I feel like I'm not getting anywhere and I'm just treading water. But at the end of the day, like, I did get a decent amount accomplished. We've made some advances. We've studied. Treasure lies before me. We've cracked into an entirely new tier of expeditions and successfully completed them, although obviously with a little bit of a speed bump here and there. But like, all in all, not so shabby. All right, so here is my reward. Why did I hit C on that instead of actually going to get it? Oh, I didn't add the paint. I was too busy flapping my gums. All right, that's fine. It'll still be there in a minute. We'll remake it. We have the technology. All right, secret histories. I forgot how much mystique and shit you get from painting. Oh my God. No wonder a Spartic got arrested. Was it a Spartic that I was doing so much painting with? The great hooded princes are described as having escaped from the history of their death to a history where they yet live. The text claims that there are now 108 of them, but in one of many instances of twinnedness, before they crossed from their death chronicle, there were only 54. So they crossed between histories, and in doing so, doubled themselves. Oh, yo, let's go. What is this? It's more knock lore. Not quite where I need it to be, but man, are we getting close. It's just under. So any other knock lore kind of gets me in the neighborhood. Rite of the Mother's Mercy. The assistant is offered in sacrifice to the mother of ants, but the mother knows healing as well as poison, and she will be merciful, accepting the substitute of a lesser offering. Usually the experience is not reassuring for the assistant. So we know all kinds of rites. I just don't know what to do with them. So this takes an invocation, an assistant, and an offering. Okay, so the assistant isn't the thing that's thrown away. That makes sense. I'm gonna have to spend some time and just like look at what to do with these. Like, just try an insane number of combinations until I'm kind of aware of all my choices there. Because there is for sure stuff in there that I'm ignoring. I know there's this stuff about like switching passion for reason and vice versa, whatnot. But I'm assuming there's more to it. More fascination. Womp womp. All right. Get our last commission. We're gonna read about what happened in this creepy cave, and then we're gonna call it. I want to be in almost a double episode. Sorry for anyone who prefers it when the episodes are a little bit more snappy, but I got locked in. A nest of lights. The tunnels beneath the cave are smooth with the great serpent's passage and chokingly dark until we come with our lanterns. But the chamber where it nested is surprisingly bright. Luminescent fungi flood the place with Irset's moonlight. Perhaps the candles drew it. Oh, perhaps the candles drew it, not repelled it. So maybe the dude was lighting the candles to bring it in and then feeding it? Is that how I'm interpreting that? That's kind of fun. A little cache of treasures culled over the years from the serpent's meals. It has nosed them into a glinting pile. Intensity of radiance. It's a pretty high level influence. What do we get? So we got some more books. More about the spider door. more about Shadowless King, both in a language I can interpret, which is great. Yo! And a level 12 lantern tool. Interesting. Can I offer that up in an ascension ceremony? Yo! Let's go. Is it going to eat this if I use it? Hang on. So if it's going to do that, let me use it on... Oh my God. I was like all ready to tie up the episode, but now I have to know. Fast forward. Give me the goods. I just want to know. Yep, I get it. Our passion's back. We can paint. All that's great. I just want to know what's going on with Isabet. Did we crack the code? I hope that doesn't wind up using it. It did use it. No. No. Oh. Frustrating. All right, I just went and walked around a little bit. It was it was a bit of a gut punch after going as hard as we did and just wanting some kind of like little bonus accomplishment to have that not work. I would, you know, I get it because she's not a lantern character, so we can't exalt her to see her. That makes sense. But man, I wish it hadn't let me do it and just throw that tool away. It's a real bummer. It's a real bummer. That's all right though. Like, all things considered, got through some expeditions. We got some more books. Not as much to say about our other goals. We did get a little bit more knock lore, but it's not quite as high as we want it. Closer now. And we did finally wind up in a situation where we're getting books to read. I need to figure out how to translate the ones that we can't. And I gotta feel like so many of the things that I'm frustrated about are because I can't get into the Mansus, or higher in the Mansus, I should say. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna go check a wiki. There's a chance I will, because it's starting to, I think, legitimately impede my progress. And I want to see an ending to this game. I want to see what an end of this game looks like. So I haven't decided. That's something I'll have to go and figure it out. We still got to decide what we're going to do about the cult. Like, we have that kind of one-off to switch cult. So I don't know. There's more questions there are answers. But I think Cultist Simulator prefers it that way. So I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. Anyway, I know this episode has gone super, super long, so I won't keep you any longer. If you did hang out for the whole thing, thank you so very much. I appreciate that. Go ahead and do all the YouTube things that you're supposed to do on YouTube because YouTube says so. Like, subscribe, notification bell, leave me with a comment, all that other stuff. Come see me on Twitch. The rest of my links are below. Fastest sign off I've ever done. I'll see you for the next one. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.